Oh, landmines and jellyfish. Welcome back to Knives, I guess, and admit it, you just thought about what I'd look like wearing a Speedo. But we just came off a live stream and we went in on another Ozark Trail dropout. So here's the one from the first live stream, and we went in and attacked this one tonight. The reason being, I wanted to see whether or not the results were repeatable. That 7 hours still trips me out a little bit, so I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy another one. We're going to do another one. And it did pretty much the exact same thing. So let's take a look at this thing real quick. If you haven't seen it by some odd chance, but first things first and most importantly, the pocket clip is tip up, which is the Lord's carry. We got these orange injection molded scales. We got a thumb stud and an axis lock. So let's flick the stud. And the axis lock, and of course everything on it's buttery smooth. You know, you guys have seen this quite a few times now, but I had to get that out of the way. One thing to note. All right, I've seen some complaints about a warped blade. Turns out it's not a warped blade, it's an uneven grind. So this one has that. So if you hold the straight edge up here, you might be able to tell it's a pretty tight fit. But if you put it up here, there's a gap right there. So gap and, you know, not so much gap. But if you put it up against the blade on this side here, not really a gap and not really a gap. So what's happening is the grind on the top's not even. That's what's making it look like it's warped, which is good to know because it's basically just a cosmetic flaw more than anything else, which, I mean, it's Ozark Trail. It's not the end of the world. That's kind of to be expected on some level. Now, we went in on this thing, and our first hour, we cut and cut and cut, and we broke out the copy paper at the end of the hour. It was still a nice, clean cut. So, unlike this one, I broke out some more difficult cardboard and just pushed through a bunch of that. Pushed and pushed and pushed, and I pushed the edge. At the end of 2 hours, it was still doing a good, clean cut on the copy paper. You know, so I broke out some even more challenging cardboard and pushed through that. It was some thick, burly stuff. It took a lot of pressure to cut through it. And at the 2.5 hour mark after doing that, it was still going strong. So we just kept going with it. And we got, give or take 6 hours, a little bit more of cutting time with it. And it was still at the same point the first one was at after 6 hours. Like, I would have had to have done what I did last time. Break out some of the super thick, super heavy-duty double wall stuff and just go haywire on it to wear the edge out. This is spectacular performance out of a $10 knife. And again, like all the other D2 we've done, crapped out at about the 4 hour mark. You know, no matter what we did and how gentle we were with it after that 4 hour mark, those cuts in the cardboard started just being tearing and rolling than it was cutting. You know, I am still blown away. I am still impressed. I can't believe that's what we're getting out of this. And I took this one and I got out the precision adjust and I've sharpened this up to 17 degrees on both sides. So this is going to be kind of set off to the sides so that we can do another live stream on a you know, hand sharpened edge to see if that makes a difference. When I started sharpening this, it looks like it was already at give or take 17 degrees. It didn't take much metal removal to get this thing back to sharp again. And I will say, the burr that came off it when I hit that second slide, because when I do the first stone, the 220 grit, you don't feel much of a burr on most steels. That's been a headache. But when it did finally start pulling a burr up, it was a nice, small, tight, crispy burr. Like, it felt really good. This one, we didn't sharpen it after that last live stream, but I broke out the Kin Onion belt grinder to put a good edge on this one really fast. I could have spent more time on it and gotten it sharper, but this is a really good, perfectly adequate working edge for this thing. You know, and it responded to that really well, too. You know, the burr that came up on it was nice and solid. Like, the steel, the HRC seems to be pretty decent. The steel quality seems to be decent. You know, one of my viewers said he had these things tested. He tested for lead in the coating on this. There's none there. And he said it tested out to actually be D2. So we at least have some information on that. And, yeah, like, again, if you're at Walmart, just grab one if you can find it. I got lucky. There was like 12 of them on the rack this morning when I went to Walmart to take a look because I was going to look at another Ozark Trail that I ended up not liking and not buying. But I got two more. So my brain is in two different places. I have a third brand new one right here. And I'm tempted to say we're going to do another live stream just to see if this goes another 7 hours, but I don't have that in me for something that we already know is repeatable. You know, we know what the QC issues are with this thing. We know that the QC issues are cosmetic. They're not performance related. You know, the centering on this ain't the best. It's not centered the best, but that's also the uneven grind kicking in. Yeah, this one's not well centered. It's not. And of course, you got a captive pivot on this side, so you can't really tighten this thing up to make a difference with it unless you go way over the top. You know, like I've tightened this down until it won't move anymore and the blade no longer moves freely, and it still hasn't really done anything for the centering. Because one side of it's captive. You can't like adjust your tightness from side to side to really get that blade recentered. The blade on this one, quite well centered. The blade on this one, not very well. You know, it still works good. It'll still carry fine. It'll still cut fine, but not centered. So, you know, and again, like we did our edge 17 degrees per side. You know, we got a very, very sharp edge. So we've got that waiting in the wings to go in on another live stream and see how long it lasts with a hand sharpened edge. Some knives we've had, that sharpened edge has like almost doubled, or in a couple of cases with really cheap steels, tripled the edge retention on it. There's a part of me that's hoping it does help out, just because it'd make me feel better about my sharpening. And there's a part of me that's like, I don't want to sit there and do that for that long. But, yeah, like I said, it's really hard to tell, like, how much of this is blade warp and how much of it's just an uneven grind. But, you know, that is one of the QC issues to look out for. When you buy yours, inspect it before you leave the store. Check it out, make sure it's straight, and if it's not, return it and replace it. Because, like, if it was me and I bought this for an EDC knife and I wasn't making content with it, then I would definitely be upset if it wasn't straight and it wasn't centered well enough. But for what we're doing here, that's totally fine. You know, if this was a more expensive knife, I'd be upset. And if it was from anyone besides Ozark Trail, I'd be surprised. Like I said, it still works good, but every time Ozark Trail does something like this, there's some QC issue that shows up in a bunch of them. You know, the last batch, it was that one that had the really jacked up action on it because they really did a bad job stamping that out. The channel that the axis lock rides in along the back of the blade, that thing was just completely messed up and done so poorly it wasn't funny. I had to go in there with a grinder and really put some work into it to fix that, and that seemed to be endemic to every single one of those they made. So this one, at least it's an intermittent issue. I'm hoping, because like I tried looking down the edge while they were in the package like this while I was in the store to see if I could spot any issues going into it, and they looked okay. So that's kind of hard to do. Maybe you'll be lucky enough to spot something like this before you buy it. I'm glad it showed up on this one so that I could show you guys what's happening there. But yeah, like I said, when you buy this, like even if it's just getting out to the parking lot or before you leave the building, crack it open, take a look at it. If it's not right like this, like you can see how bad that centering is. You see centering that bad on it, just return it and get another one. You know, keep doing that until you get one where the centering is good. But yeah, the steel was the thing we were testing tonight. I'm glad I saw that defect right there so I could show you. But yeah, the results are repeatable. It did the thing a second time. So that means odds are really good that across the board, y'all are going to be able to get the same kind of performance. You know, I've seen guys where they've said their edge rolled pretty quickly. I haven't seen that out of this, but I also haven't pushed it in a way that would cause it to roll. We were just looking at how long it took the edge to wear down. And I got one guy, it was Apex Alchemy. I dropped a comment on one of his videos to let him know we need the HRC testing done on this. So hopefully that happens and we'll be able to get more information about it. But yeah, this is the information I can gather for you right now. So, you know, this has been a journey. This has been a ton of work. You know, hopefully get some new eyes on it. Hopefully get some new eyes on the channel. But either way, all that being said, thanks for looking at my crap. Subscribers, you guys are awesome. Y'all are still coming in so fast. I appreciate it so much. You've got no idea how much I appreciate the time you spend here. If you haven't subbed, please do. I've got 4 knives to give away at 2K, so get in the door and try to win yourself a knife. Comments, I love some feedback. I know a bunch of you guys have these now, so share your thoughts and your experience with it. I'm not the only voice here, and all that being said, y'all have a nice day.